I'm Sarah Abrams. I'm the Executive Director at the Starfish Connection, and I am here with...
Caroline Mayhew. I'm the marketing manager for the Paseo Nuevo Mall here in downtown Santa Barbara.
And it's the day before Mother's Day, and you reached out to us because you found us on Instagram, question mark?
I found you guys on Instagram, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
I'm always keeping up with what's going on in Santa Barbara, partially for myself, partially for work. But I've been looking to bring more inclusive events to the mall. I started with the mall last year, and it's been my goal to plan about 400 events a year.
Wow.
Yes. So any possible new fun activity that we can bring, I'm immediately interested. And you guys really resonated with me, I think just because I also have been teaching yoga for the past 3 years at Core Power here in town. So I have a pretty deep connection with a lot of the people in the community. And once I saw what you guys were doing in the community, it kind of felt like there's nobody else doing it. And it feels so nice and refreshing. And so, yeah, I not only wanted to get involved myself, but I wanted to be able to share it with the people who come to the mall.
Amazing. Well, thank you. I was really excited to get your inquiry, and we just launched in February. So the truck is new, and our conversations in Santa Barbara are really starting to pick up speed. And you're one of our, I think you're our third public event that we're doing in town. So it feels really, really good to be included in. So thank you for reaching out. I'm excited to watch this relationship grow.
I know. Well, it's also just really sweet for your guys' own growth. It's one of those things where you say it right now, like, this is our third public event, and then we'll be here in a year, and you're like, this is our 300th public event, you know?
I don't know if I have the energy for 300, but I like where you're going.
But it's really sweet. It's really just sweet to see your guys' foundation of where you're starting.
Yeah.
I'm also a sucker for the color pink. So you guys got me with the branding.
The pink.
And then the mission is really what struck home for me.
Oh, that's really important to know. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah.
This is a big deal for us, the community storytelling piece of it to support our crisis funding. Full circle.
And so who are you guys donating for crisis funding?
So we give crisis funding to individuals and families in Santa Barbara who've kind of hit the end of the line for resources.
Okay.
And oftentimes they're sick, they're houseless, they might have mental health issues, they could have young children and need extra support. So we partner with other organizations in Santa Barbara. And when a client of theirs is about to be hungry or homeless or out of fuel to get to treatment, we can give them some crisis funding up to $2,500, and usually within 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So we really are hoping to.
That's really sweet.
It's a big deal to get to help people at that level and that quickly.
Yeah.
So the more money we raise, and Taco Truck is part of our fundraising vehicle, the more money we can redistribute back to Santa Barbarans.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah, thanks for giving us an opportunity to be here and expand our visibility in town. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, it's really sweet. I think that was another aspect as well. I not only wanted to be able to share it with our patrons that come to the mall, but once I saw your guys' mission, I wanted you guys to have a space, on State Street to be able to be visible and really give back to the community. And what prompted you to start Starfish Connection? What's your background with all this?
So our founder, Virginia Benson Weigel, her and I go back 20 years when our 20-somethings were in nursery school. And her late husband, John, he passed in 2018. They had this idea of giving people a way to tell their own stories in their own voices, and how freeing that was. And that in their marriage, they had no secrets. They told each other everything. And I mean, brutally honest everything. And that was really valuable for them in their relationship. And oftentimes we don't tell our own stories. People talk about us and they tell our stories for us. And so John and Virginia wanted to make sure that they weren't the only ones that felt the impact of having a space to say what you need to say. So that was the storytelling piece of it. And then the crisis funding came from all those times in our lives when someone has given us money that no strings attached. Here's $500. Here's $5,000. Pay your rent, pay your medical bill, get your car paid for, whatever you need. We all have one of those stories. And John did that for Virginia at a tipping point in her relationship where, in her life, where she needed to make a major shift. And he gave her $5,000, and it completely changed her life.
Wow.
She did the same for me. And
Wow.
2019, I was going downhill. I was going to have a nervous breakdown. And I was just telling all my friends, I'm in a bad way. I need help. I don't know what I need, but I need help.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, do you trust me? And I said, of course. She goes, okay, great. I know what you need and I'll pay for it. And
Wow.
it changed the course of my life. So
Yeah.
this idea that by giving someone a no strings attached immediate cash gift to help them through whatever it is they're going through has the potential to be life altering.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
right now it's basic needs is mostly is what we cover.
Yeah.
And making sure that somebody whose kid has cancer and is being driven to Children's in LA and gets behind on their car payment, making sure they don't lose their car, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's such a basic human thing. So our goal is to help people through those really kind of dire circumstances that we find ourselves in. And we just need somebody to be like, here you go. I got you.
Yeah.
Take this money.
Wow.
Take a deep breath.
Wow.
So,
That's so refreshing.
yeah.
That's really sweet.
Thanks for
feel
asking.
like- yeah. Well, no, I was curious. And also, I feel like kind of almost to tie it back to Paseo Nuevo. So a little bit of backstory about like my role and the company that manages Paseo Nuevo. So I'm with Prism Places, and they took over management last June. And the only reason why they manage luxury malls, like lots of very nice, like parts of Rodeo Drive, like properties in Texas, Colorado. The only connection to Santa Barbara is that the CEO grew up in Santa Barbara. And so he's known his whole life, like, I want to do something with that spot. It's such a nice place in the community, and he's seen it go through really high highs and low lows, and essentially wanted to step in and make it a community space for everyone in Santa Barbara and make it less about the mall and more about just bringing people together.
Nice.
And so I stepped in and started planning all these events that are free for the public. And nobody's used to that. Nobody's used to free events in Santa Barbara or even anywhere. And so a lot of people I've found, 90% of my conversations I'm having with people, they're like, what's the catch? What are the strings attached? Like, why is this free? How is this free? What are you guys doing? Like, why are you guys offering all these things to us for free? And I always just tell people, like, we just want community to come to the mall. Like, our best case scenario is we get a group of people to come, you stay a while at our events, and maybe you grab a coffee or a juice and support our tenants. But at the end of the day, we really just want to create a community here at the mall and make it less about the profit and more about the people.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm planning 400 events a year. And Prism takes a very different marketing approach, where rather than promoting sales and such, we'd rather just promote this beautiful town that we live in. And,
I love it.
And bring people here and make it less about the profit. So I understand that feeling of like being able to offer something with no strings attached is so satisfying. And especially we do a lot of kid focus events just because I'm a sucker for kids. So we do a lot of kid focus events, and I'm constantly having parents just like thank me and be so appreciative. Like a little small craft that fills their kid's day for even an hour is sometimes makes their whole day. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's that feeling of being able to give with no strings attached.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm so grateful that I have the resources like of my job to be able to put on events and offer that for the community, because I can't single-handedly do that. But I'm really grateful that we're able to offer things like this and
this is
even
amazing.
more. And so I know that feeling of like no strings attached is very satisfying and gratifying.
It is. And we'll be back here in September. We have a tentative event.
Yes.
In the mall for First Thursday, I think we talked about. Yeah. So we'll get to collaborate again.
Yes.
Caroline, thank you so much for inviting us into this space, and thank your CEO, I think you said, for having the idea to create free public events in Santa Barbara. This is a really beautiful thing, and it is an amazing space.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Aw.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.